You are live. You may begin.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Parul Mishra, and I am the Vice President for Global Sales for IBM's AI agents and AI assistants. And I am thrilled to be here to be kicking off our segment today on AI agents, AI assistants, and all of the fun stuff that we have all been hearing about in the market. So let's dive in. Why is this such a pivotal moment for all of us? Well, AI is bringing in a whole wave of productivity. We have all heard about it. 25% is the number that we have heard, where AI is able to drive speed, right? Just by decreasing the time it takes for knowledge workers to complete their tasks. And then 12% more tasks can be completed just by using AI, which is great, right? This is all about speed. This is all about time to value. But then we also saw that 40% of knowledge workers are getting higher quality in their work. And when you think about that balance between efficiency that you're getting through AI and the quality that you're able to get through AI, through assistants, through agents, through these compound systems, that's really where the magic starts happening, because you're able to not just do the job faster, but you also get more throughput and more quality and more outcomes out of that job. So with that framing, let's look at where, when we talk to our clients, when we talk to our partners, when we even talk to our internal IBM teams, where we have found them to be in this journey towards AI. And when we think about AI, you really have to think about everyone trying to move up that continuum. And it starts from plus AI, which means you have a couple of projects that you're trying, a couple of agents that you may have built and experimenting with the technology, to really going in all in on AI. And that is the AI plus stage, where you're leading with a very thoughtful, very methodical approach, where your entire workflows for an enterprise are built off of AI. And that could be a combination of AI agents, AI code assistants, or chatbots, or virtual agents, or intelligent workflows. So that is the North Star for everyone. And when you look at this continuum, there's a tipping point or a chasm that projects tend to fall into, where they start with some experimentation, but then the real value, as it starts becoming material with IT automation or code assistance or AI agents, or the entire workflow transformation, a lot of projects, and we heard about 54% of those projects fall because of cost considerations, because of optimization, because of scale. So what we ask enterprises to really think about is, how do you go from point use cases, agents that were built for fun or for learning, to really scaling it across the enterprise, taking a RAG pattern as an example, and then figuring out, how do I take this and make it available across the enterprise in the most easy to consume way, so that the outcome is multiplied as opposed to a single output. So where do we start? Where we have seen most success with AI technologies, be it agents, assistants, or models, is areas like customer service. Why? Because customer service is the face of any company, any enterprise, right? And customers are absolutely vital to any enterprise success. And oftentimes the human-led support, it may be effective for very complex situations, but for situations that are simple and easy and customers are looking for fast solutions, that waiting time really hurts. So if we had AI and AI assistants and agents in a customer service space, as an example, then that time to value, or that answering a question, it can be addressed through AI, and the agents can still focus on higher value work, which is complex problems, which is intellectually rewarding to solve anyway for humans. And when you look at other domains like sales and marketing, similar challenges where prospecting a potential customer is very manual, very laborious. So if we could drive more AI and automation in that space, then truly the sales organization can spend more time with the customers and really try and understand their needs, as opposed to working behind the scenes on the processes. Same in several internal operations like procurement or financial planning, HR, talent management. Classic example of talent management is HR professionals spending too much time in just copy pasting information about a candidate from one tool to the other. And a stat that I found a couple of months ago was an average knowledge worker, which could be in HR, could be in sales, could be in customer service. They typically flip through 12 enterprise applications 30 times a day. So when you think about that, and the constant back and forth between applications, just moving data around, if all of that could be handled through AI, then that really opens up the world for us as humans to focus on what we were hired to do, or what is our true calling and purpose in each of these domains. So with that, let's look at a little bit deeper. How do you make that happen at scale? So we're not talking about just building one agent or 5 assistants, or taking one workflow and simplifying that. How do you look at the holistic picture and build an enterprise stack that truly gives the value and sets you up for success in that continuum of moving from plus AI to AI plus? So if you look at the topmost layer of this enterprise stack, the user is always the top priority. So the user experience is very, very critical. And for all of these AI tools and technologies that are coming up, the challenge that users are running into is there's too much, too many components to navigate, and it's too hard to figure out which agent to call, which AI assistant to use. And the problem has been characterized as what's the motherboard of all of these chatbots, or who is orchestrating this whole framework of so many AI technologies in the mix. And every day, all of us do come up and add more to it. So there's a whole big spaghetti bowl of AI that enterprises are now struggling to navigate. So that top layer of user interface is very, very, very critical, and has to be one unified interaction method for users to be able to interact with all of these AI technologies. And we have found that a chat mechanism that is not just the traditional chat with agents, but a truly evolved chat which understands the user intent, but also breaks it down and helps the user route their intent to the right component within the AI architecture. So that is what you see at the very top, the web chat, but it is the orchestrator that typically users should be able to interact with, so that the user intent is not only understood, but is taken care of through an orchestrator. On the right-hand side, what we have learned is, with all of these AI technologies and tools coming in, what gets in the way of adoption is yet another AI tool that's now in the mix. And when that happens, we're adding to the problem as opposed to solving it. So the approach should always be meeting the users where they are, which means integrating into their workflow, which could be MS Teams, which could be Slack, which could be a website. It could also be integrated into other enterprise applications. But really, the AI technology or the orchestrator should live where the users are living, so they don't have to switch to yet another interface. So within this orchestrator, we think about it in terms of multiple agents and technologies that make the orchestration of the user experience possible. And it starts with that AI agent chat, where you have an interface as a user to be able to interact very openly, very freely, very fluidly, as if you were interacting with a human. And then there are, of course, skills like reasoning or reflection, planning, and then based on the input from the user, routing that request through tool calling, and sometimes reflection on what was done and what should be done in retrospect based on the interaction with the user. So that whole top layer is all based on interaction with the user, understanding what the user is trying to accomplish, which could be a very simple task, or it could be a very complex set of tasks, in which case this orchestrator agent should also be able to break down that task into smaller components, be able to route it to the right tool or application or APIs, and then be able to take that output back cohesively and communicate it back to the user. So that's the topmost layer. The second layer then is powered by all of the agents and assistants that we're all very excited about, right? So we have heard about agents in customer service domain. We have heard about agents in the coding space or software engineering space, where agents can go and debug the code pretty autonomously. So if you think about that second layer, which is expert agents and assistants, meaning these agents and assistants are experts in a certain task or a series of tasks that you may have chosen. Now, within that space of agents, there are different flavors. So there are pre-built domain agents. And why pre-built agents are valuable is for repetitive tasks or for tasks that are very similar across enterprises. Let's say scheduling meetings. And that scheduling of meetings could be associated with a particular enterprise application, like a company might be using Gmail or another company might be using Outlook. But the basic premise and the logic of that agent is the same. So why would we not reuse it across different domains? So pre-built domain agents are agents that we suspect would be used across multiple domains. And the time to value with pre-built agents is very, very fast, because all you have to do is configure it for your own enterprise, for your own credentials, for your own particular IT landscape. But the agent doesn't need to be recreated because it's pre-built and provided by within the IT stack. Now, there may be instances where the pre-built agent is not enough, and your enterprise or your area needs a very special agent, and you may decide that you need to build that agent yourself, which is absolutely a space that should be supported. So that's the second area where you can come in and build your agent. Could be agentic RAG, could be a self-reflection agent, could be a reasoning agent, could be a different kind of agent, right? But it solves a certain problem that you want to solve, but you have the means to build that agent within the platform or the landscape. The third is you may have agents and assistants that are pre-built. Or maybe you built it in a different application or platform or even open source framework. You should be able to bring that agent into the same framework as well. So now we're thinking about pre-built agents, which are already provided, the ability to build new agents, and then the ability to import existing agents, third party or wherever you have built, and be able to bring that into the same fabric of agents that support that user across multiple domains. And then there are also assistants that used to be the dialogue flow. So the if then else, conditional logic. Our thinking is they shouldn't be thrown away because they still serve a purpose. The technology has advanced from dialogue flows to actions and API based, agent based architecture. But we believe there is still a place for dialogue flows where there are very deterministic processes or where you want very strict guardrails. So then you think about the rich fabric here, which is pre-built agents, brand new agents that you can build based on your requirement. You can bring in pre-built agents from third party, or you can bring in existing dialogue flows for chatbots that might exist in your fabric. So this becomes that entire suite of agents that you have. But then we need a mechanism to be able to manage and monitor these agents within the enterprise stack. So therefore, you see the history tracking, or the ability to connect to different applications, or bring in context management and keep expanding that context based on your need. And then the tooling, which tools do you want to be able to connect to and bring into this fabric? So that is all of the middleware that is critical to be able to manage all of these agents that you would have in any typical IT landscape. And we call it the agentic mesh, right? Because it's a fabric of multiple types of agents that coexist and work together through the orchestrator. Now, underneath that is AI models and skills. So these agents typically are tasked with an outcome, a very specific outcome, and they perform a task or a series of tasks. For them to be able to do that, they may have to tap into models. And those could be LLMs, it could be anything else it could be knowledge base, it could be a data source. So depending on what the outcome of the agent is, they would tap into the models. They may also tap into APIs to be able to go connect to an enterprise application if, for an example, you're using an assistant or an agent to fetch information. So within that, then there are skills, which is the next level of breaking down agents, and that's what you see in the skill catalog. And skills is the lowest denominator, if you will, of a task. A skill could be connect to Salesforce. Another skill could be get my opportunities from Salesforce and display it to me. But when you start stitching those skills together, that becomes the framework for an agent to perform work in a sequence that you would like them to deliver outcomes. And then there on the very right hand side in the stack, you see the pre-built agent tools. So again, it could be multiple tools that could be added here, but pre-built gives the advantage that you already have that configured in this fabric, so you don't have to start afresh every single time. And then, of course, the foundation of everything is data and systems. So all of this is underpinned by the data lake or the enterprise processing, or you may choose to have a vector store if you would like to use a RAG pattern. If not, then there might be web search that you might want to tap into. But that entire layer underneath is the foundational, getting your data organized, being able to leverage that data, and also the enterprise applications like Workday or Salesforce, or you name it, all being available, and pre-built connections to the top layers. So I spend time on this because this, for us, this is the key. This is the key to move from building one or two agents and getting limited value, as we saw in that continuum, to really driving a transformational change in an organization by bringing all of these AI components together and making that available through a very, very easy to use, simple, intuitive, unified user experience, and basically democratizing all of the agents. Because if we don't have that top layer of unified interaction, then the agents may only be available for a certain group of people and not really widely available. So this is the architecture, this is the stack that we have been leading with, we have found a lot of value in, and it's really bringing all of the pieces together to drive a massive change in the organization. So this is just pulling it all together again to in a very summarized way. So where we have seen the most agentic need is topmost multi-agent orchestration. And this is what we saw in the enterprise stack earlier. This is where for the users, what they want is all of the agents and assistants and other AI tools, models, data sources, all available through one chat experience. And that chat experience should be able to orchestrate all of the agents in a team, basically, to be able to serve the outcome that the user desires. The second piece of this is the pre-built agents. And again, this is where you get the time to value, because if every enterprise and if every developer and if every business user starts building every agent from scratch, it'll take us years to get to the desired outcome. So if there's a balance of pre-built agents that are ready to use, you just have to customize it or configure it to your particular situation, then that gets us closer to the time to value. And then you add the factor of custom built agents, where absolutely come in and be able to build an agent in a very low code way by providing the outcome and having all of the tools and the space to be able to easily build your own agent. So these are the three elements that we see vital to any agentic AI-driven transformation in an enterprise. So again, what are the spaces that we have been able to tap into through AI assistants and agents? We talked about HR, so employee support, Ask HR as an example, or talent acquisition, onboarding of employees. If you go into sales, it's prospecting, opportunity management. Within procurement, it's supply assessment. Customer care, we just talked about. IT, right? Code generation to just resolving tickets as an example. So for all of these domains, again, the key is to think about consumption. An employee of a company may have a question for IT. Maybe they forgot their password or they need their password reset. And the next minute, they may want to know what is their vacation policy for the year. So for an employee, it doesn't really work when they have to switch to multiple assistants. They have to go ask IT as an assistant, and then they have to switch to HR assistant to get other things done. So this is where that top layer of unified experience comes into play, where an employee shouldn't have to switch between domains. They should just be able to ask a question, and the technology for us, that is our product watsonx Orchestrate, should be able to orchestrate the user intent to wherever the outcome is best found. So here with watsonx Orchestrate, we're very excited to offer a 30-day free trial. So what we talked about so far as the orchestrator agent or the meta agent, all of that is available within the product. So that unified experience that we talked about, where a user comes in and is able to express an intent, and that gets routed to the right agent or assistant or model, is all pre-built in our watsonx Orchestrate product. We also have a way for you to come in and try just building AI agents, right? So that's these are the codes where you can directly get to the place to get started within minutes. And the last but the most important thing here. So this, what I shared was just a very high level setup of all of the things that we are pulling together, bringing together. How does our AI enterprise stack looking like from all the way from that unified chat experience and the multi-orchestration down to different domains, which also includes, as you saw, the code assistant domain. So now we would love to deep dive into these sections, and that's what we're most excited to share today. So our first section is the pre-built AI agents, which we just talked about. And in this case, we will show you how our HR domain has a whole set of pre-built agents that can be that can give you time to value, where you don't have to go build them from scratch, but you have it available to configure for your particular use case. Or you could go try out the watsonx Code Assistant and also the automating the IT infrastructure. So we have sessions for that lined up as well. And then lastly, we have a live demo of our Watson Code Assistant for Z. So these are just a couple of examples that we wanted to share. We have a lot more information available on different domains that could be automated and how you can go build AI agents on our watsonx platform as an example, and then be able to import it into watsonx Orchestrate, or build an agent on an open framework that could be any open framework, or could use any large language model, open model, or whichever is your preference, and still be able to bring that all into Orchestrate and see it all work cohesively. So I will leave you with that, and I hope that you're able to attend some of our deep dive sessions, and that you take away learnings that would help you scale from point solutions to bigger enterprise-wide, true transformational change within the organization. Thank you very much.